Okay, it's 3 o'clock. Time to start the RDA meeting. The public, any member of the public may view the meeting via a live stream, www.murraycitylive.com, or https and a bunch of stuff, www.facebook.com, Murray City, Utah. To make a public comment during the meeting, please register at https, and I don't know what those are, /, tinyurl.com //NRZTX or XT9MD. Or I should have just went this way. Or submit comments via email to rda@murray.utah.gov. So we'll start the meeting. The first thing we have to do is approve the minutes. Approve the May 18, 2020 RDA open meeting minutes.
Do you want to take them together?
I think I'll take them separately because the other one's closed.
Okay. Oh, that's true. That's true.
So thank you.
All right. I'll move approval of the May 18th, 2021 RDA open meeting minutes.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed. Okay, approve the May 18th, 2021 RDA closed session meeting minutes.
I will move to approve the May 18th, 2021 RDA closed session meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None, so they're both approved. Yeah, I'd like to excuse Rosalba Dominguez. We're all here, but Rosalba, we'll excuse her from this meeting. Okay, do we have any citizen comments? Jennifer? Melinda?
Not on. Oh,
Okay.
no comments that I know of. Jay, have we received any comments? Okay. I don't think we have any comments.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to a public hearing discussion on the decision on the resolution approving the redevelopment agency of Murray's fiscal year 2021-2022 year budget. Melinda Greenwood and Brenda Moore.
All right. Well, the budget has been presented previously to the RDA board / city council. We've discussed it just briefly in some of the budget hearing meetings that we've had. So we've not had any changes from those meetings. The budget that's before you is also substantially similar to the budget that was approved last year. We have the required fire clay TIF payments that are in there for the developers, for the school district, and we have some funds set aside for travel, professional services, and we're unsure of at this point what the budget needs may be for this upcoming year with some of the projects that we have going forward. So we felt like the best approach at this time, rather than guess and have to do a budget amendment because we were incorrect to begin with, would be to just bring those forward in the form of a budget amendment when we have those costs more defined. So that could be for anything with the 48th and State Street project, or even some other projects that we have going on. So if there's any questions, I'm here to try and answer them. We have Brenda here as well.
Does anyone have any questions? Okay, we'll open up. It's a public hearing, so we'll open up for the public. Are there any questions for the public? From the public? No. All right, it doesn't seem that we have any questions from the public. I'll close the public hearing. And I'll bring it back to the council.
Okay, I'll move that we adopt the approving of the RDA of Murray City fiscal year 2021-2022 budget.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded. Brooke?
I can't tell who's all there. Is Mr. Dominguez there?
No.
Oh,
Okay. And then Ms. Turner,
Aye.
Mr. Held,
aye.
Ms. Martinez,
Aye.
and Mr. Cox.
Aye. All right, we'll move on to project updates. Melinda?
Okay. All right. I don't have any further updates on the cell phone tower relocation as far as timing. I had hoped that I would have maybe had an updated timeframe from American Tower, but I just checked my email. I don't have one from them today. So last we heard, they felt like the demolition would be completed later this summer. So we're still looking at a couple months on that. If we do get more information, we will pass that along. I know everyone's anxious to be moving forward on City Hall. The 48th and State Street project, I will have a weekly meeting with Jill Sherman from Eadlin Company tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have a little bit more information on where they feel like they're at for setting a public open house to discuss the project and go over the design that they have been working on. I mentioned in my memo that we did have the traffic study that came back from the consultants, Fair and Peers, that were working on that. We did, Trey Stokes and I sat down with them last week. We had some questions, and they're going to make some revisions to that plan, and we'll get that back from them probably in a couple more weeks.
Melinda?
Yeah.
So the open house, will that be in person? Will that be an in-person open house?
So that's something that we'll have to determine when we have a date set, but I think that's a possibility now, whereas obviously when we were looking at other dates, that was more unknown as to where we would be with the pandemic. So we can consider that for sure.
Okay. I think it'd be really helpful if it was. So,
Okay. All
And
right.
what date are we looking at? Or not date, but around the area, what are we looking at?
Well, tentatively, the last date we had discussed with them was June 23rd, but they just haven't been able to move forward on design. Some of that is they're waiting on information for the traffic impact study. So I think that even the changes that we'd like to see Fair and Peers make to that won't really impact the design much, so they can move forward with that. So at this point, because we'll want to give the public at least 2 weeks notice for when we have that date set, we're going to be looking at a July meeting, which would be the next soonest, but that gets complicated too with the Independence Day and the state holiday on the 24th.
So, no, when you say that there won't be much of a change in the design, I'm getting lots of calls from, when I say lots of calls, a few calls from people down here and some stakeholders. Are they going to have, like, what will happen at the open house, and what kind of a feel will they have for it at the time?
That's a good question. So obviously we still need to determine the format, whether we do a hybrid Zoom in person or if we do it all in person. But the intention was to have Eadlin Company go over the design that they've put together, including the site design and some of the architectural design that they have included in the project, kind of some of the reasons as to why they chose that design. And then they were hoping to have breakout sessions with those that were in attendance so that they could keep groups, maybe, 8 to 10 people, manageable group numbers, and then have a discussion with them to determine what they like, what they don't like, what they might like to see differently. So they wanted to have an interactive process with the open house, and that can be accomplished through Zoom. There are breakout rooms that you can do through that platform as well. But that was the intended format. And then what they would like to do is, obviously, that would be the first time the public would be seeing the design. And they would want to have a period of time for the public to look at it and look it over and then get any comments back to them. So they would maybe have like a 1-week period to get any thoughts back on the project that they had to Evelyn.
Okay, thank you.
I'd just like to say again, I think it's really important that we have an in-person meeting, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with Diane on that. And also, I'm going to be gone a lot of the month of August. So, and I also think the longer this goes, the more anxious the public gets. So I would really like to have this as soon as possible
Okay.
with the plan. I mean, the plan has to be put together, and I understand that, but as soon as possible. I think sooner is better than later.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so we've got some great news on the Think Architecture as well. We have a meeting with them later this week to discuss next steps on that property, which is again right south of the fire station on Box Elder. So we will discuss during that meeting, we'll discuss the anticipated costs of the cleanup and whether Think Architecture wants to, basically what method they want to proceed forward with for cleanup on that site. And then hopefully after that, we'll be able to move forward with a purchase and sale agreement that we'll bring and start getting some movement on that project. I also have some really great news on the Jesse Knight Legacy Center. The subdivision application for that site has been received by the Planning Division, so that's tentatively scheduled for the July 1st Planning Commission agenda. If you'll recall last year when we went through the development agreement with them, what they had wanted to do was subdivide the property and only develop the south half of that property as the north half was a little bit more contaminated, and that could reduce their cleanup costs and cleanup efforts. So they should have that subdivision approved then within, I would think, the next couple months. And also the state did review their draft plan that they submitted on May 17th. They did have some minor comments, but overall the state was pretty happy with that plan. So they'll have a little bit of back and forth addressing those minor comments, but there was nothing major on that, which is excellent news as well for that project to finally be getting a little bit of momentum. And then lastly, Desert Star, I've had some more conversations with Michael Todd. I have a meeting with him later this week as well, it might be next week, to go over his project and to bring that back to the council. We discussed that last summer, and he just wants another opportunity now that we will have had a little bit more time to look at the project and get costs to gauge the board's support for relocating the sewer and the power lines over there so he could expand his theater. That was all that I had for you as far as project updates. Are there any questions?
Anybody have any questions? Doesn't look like it. Thank you,
Great.
Melinda.
Okay,
And it looks like with that, that's all the business we have, so the meeting is adjourned.